Hello and welcome to another edition of Kickstarter Talk. I am Mr. Anderson, the voice of written sins, and I am also the advocate for indie comics. You know how this goes. We go down a list, we talk about what's on the list, and we decide basically on our own what's going to be backable and what's not backable. I personally think the list we have this week, every one of them is a backable property. And speaking of backable properties, we have on our show today the creator of Alter Life. Say hello. Backable properties. We have on our show today the creator of Alter Life. Say hello. There we go.
There you go. Hey, what's going on?
Tell us about your project.
Well, I'm back for the third issue of Alter Life. It's kind of a trippy sci-fi fantasy story. Follows a guy who basically discovers through dying that he comes back every time into an alternate version of himself, and basically starts this epic journey to find his family that he lost in the past year and figure out exactly what is going on and how he got these strange powers.
Now, I see on this that you had a record-breaking day one. Can you talk to us about that?
Well, I've done, let's see, like 4 comic books through Kickstarter now, and I've done a couple other projects, and this by far was my strongest day one. I launched in the middle of a day on Sunday, and in 24 hours I had 40% funded of the $5,000. So it was pretty crazy. I wasn't really expecting it to blow up quite as much as that. I definitely had been working hard to get the pre-planning done, but I was not expecting it to jump that high that quickly. So it's pretty exciting.
I'm actually surprised you were surprised by it, actually, because, I mean, you really did impress. I know you impressed me. I know you impressed a lot of the fans with the way that you've handled this entire journey that you've been on in Kickstarter. Can you just go on over that? I mean, everyone knows that you started with the issue 1. Just bring us up to speed. How are the kids?
Yeah, it's been a process. I mean, getting into doing comic books in general, I was kind of like an outsider. So I launched issue 1 just over a year ago, and I had like 0 connections in comic books, and just worked my ass off to get a little bit of a following and get everybody to pitch in to help get the first issue made. And then I kind of took a break from it, the whole thing, because of the process being difficult, and I wanted to write the entire 5-issue series before I continued. So that was why I had a long hiatus between, and then I basically came back in hopes that I could somehow fund the remaining books as a full graphic novel rather than going one by one, which in hindsight, of course, well, even when I was doing it, I was thinking this was a long shot, and you know, I was trying to raise nearly 20 grand to pay for art and shipping and printing and everything. So that just, I kind of tried to reach too far too soon, and after that, kind of took a step back while I was letting the graphic novel fail, kind of reassessed, and pretty much immediately launched issue 2, like right after that graphic novel failed. And in doing that, I kind of got a larger audience following me from that graphic novel campaign, and now, you know, we're on issue 3, and I got a lot more people behind me at this point. So hopefully we'll be knocking these out one by one, back to back at this point, and get it out to everybody as soon as possible. So,
well, I think that people are following you also because of how you handled it. For those who don't know, most people, when they're not gonna make their goal, they pull their Kickstarters, and then they run away and they talking about how they're gonna reassess and They give you a whole bunch of different reasons that sound a lot like excuses for why their campaign failed. And you didn't do that. You stepped up and was like, hey, we failed. We're not done. We're coming right back. And to your credit, I think you're back on Kickstarter within 2-3 weeks, right?
Yeah, it was less than a month. And, you know, looking back at it, it's like, I mean, that's what this Kickstarter stuff's all about. Honestly, I don't quite understand why people think they need to hit that cancel button, because even if you're writing writing it out and letting it fail, you can talk with people. It's a platform to talk about your project, even if it's going to fail. So you should be using that time to get more people on board and saying, hey, I'm going to launch this again, or I'm going to reassess. I'm going to, you know, we're going to do something else with this idea. Don't just hit that cancel button and expect people to come back to you later. That just seems crazy to me. So
kind of goes back to, it's okay to fail. It's not okay to run away.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what it feels like a lot of times. Like if I was going to fail, I'd fail with dignity. I'd be like, look, tell me what I did wrong. Like you said, reach out to everyone. How can I get you guys on board for the next try? Exactly.
Like I ask people what they would like to see. And that's kind of what, to me, that's what the big fun thing about Kickstarter. It should be more about your fans having hands-on with you and being able to say, hey, you know, maybe these rewards suck, or maybe your prices are too high, or maybe I didn't back because the shipping was ridiculous, or, you know, there's so many things that you can learn from failing with a Kickstarter. It's silly to say, oh, I'm not doing good in the first week, I think I'm just going to hit that cancel button and then come back later. Like, don't use that as an opportunity. I don't know. That's kind of what I did, and I feel like this comic is blown up because of that. So.
Oh, I would agree. And if my math is right, by the time you're said and done, it's funny, you'll have raised more than your initial asking cost to do the same thing.
That's probably true. I'm hoping that, honestly, I'm hoping with this one, especially with how much we've raised so early, that we can just like jump into funding some of the next issue and not have to come back asking for $5,000. But yeah, ultimately it's going to cost a little more to do it this way, just because you're shipping so many more times, and you're, you know, just like the promotional art and paying for people to do art for your different items and stuff. But I mean, looking back at it, this is the right way to do it, and there's no shortcuts. And as much as I wanted to take a shortcut to get that graphic novel done, I think I will be sitting in a better place once that 5th issue comes out, because I'll have a lot more people following me by that point. So.
Well, I definitely think it's a journey and it's an experience. And I do want to commend you for the thing you said, that if you get extra money, you put it into the next issue. I do think there are a lot of people at this point who look at Kickstarter as a store. And I'm always thrilled when creators like you treat it with the respect it deserves as a platform, like you said, a learning place. This is just as much a tool for creators as it is for the fans. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, definitely. I share your frustration when it comes to established people coming back and using Kickstarter. I mean, I can see if you're well established and someone's not going to pick up your idea and you bring it here, that's fine. But I don't. It distracts from what I feel is the purpose of Kickstarter at the same time, because it's for people like us that want to make these things and have no other means to do it. So no. I mean, I wouldn't be able to make this comic book if it wasn't for Kickstarter. So,
you know, yeah, it's like anything else. The minute someone learns to make money off of it, they kind of begin to abuse it. And I'm not saying that a lot of creators do it, but there are a handful of people who will go online and say, well, you have to sell your comics at $5 on Kickstarter. And that's just not accurate. You can't feasibly work that to make sense. And I see these creators who are trying to live up to it who can't, and who are telling me they want to quit doing comics because of that. And I do feel that there's this pressure coming from people who have monetized Kickstarter into a business. Instead of running their own site, they now have Kickstarter. So I'm glad to see creators like you showing that there's a different way to do it.
Yeah. To combat that at this point, I mean, just give people good stuff and keep your audience involved in what you're doing, because honestly, those people that are just in here for you know, promoting their stuff and getting it sold, they're not quite as interactive with people, and they're not the ones that are you're not getting the full Kickstarter experience from those people. So
no, you get the Happy Meal. You get something put in a box and sent to you right away, because that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, well, thank you for being on the show. I'm going to get to the list. If you want to hang out, you're free to hang out, but I know you're a busy guy, so if you got to go. We're going to go down the list. But if you haven't already backed Alter Life, man, this is a fantastic book. When's Zeb coming back?
Zed's kind of in the back burner right now. I want to get this. My main focus right now is just getting Alter Life finished as quick as possible. But now I have written the whole thing, so my writing is going to be all dumped back into doing Zed at this point. And I'm kind of leaning towards doing some of that stuff, releasing on my Patreon Village Comics site, and then I might bring Zed to Kickstarter solely to you know, let the people that have been following it get like copies that they need to keep up with the series. But I'm not gonna necessarily come to Kickstarter just to fund everything again. So we'll see how it works. But it's all I'm kind of assessing how to go about this at this point. But it's a work in progress. I think Zed probably won't come back until next year at this point, when I'm done with Alter Life. So.
Well, as much as that's heartbreaking, I understand it, and it gives me something to look forward to in 2018.
Awesome.
All right. I'm going to go talk about the list. You can hang out or take off, but we got to get to the list.
All right. Thanks, Rob.
You're welcome, man. Talk to you soon.
All right. See ya.
All right, guys. I am the advocate for indie comics, as you guys know, but let's talk about the list that we're here to talk about. You'll notice the cover has a Kickstarter that we're going to talk about coming soon. These are the Kickstarters you are seeking. You're in the right place. The pick of the week this week is Angelica Reigns. It is about a young woman that is haunted by an ancient religious cult and a destiny she is not willing to succumb to. This is Angelica Reigns, which is the 22-page full-color action comic book about a young woman who is haunted. It is close to being funded, and you guys can be the people today that gets this funded. So, if you're looking for a fantastic story from a gifted group of creators, this is it. We're going to talk about it more in a minute. Support R4AU with the Autistic Jedi patch, which will now be at the Written Sins table. That's right. Anytime we have a table at any event, or Sinful Comics has a table, which is generally the same thing as Sinful Comics is nice enough to allow Written Sins some space on their table, being our parent company. Every time that we are allowed to do that, you'll be able to get yourself a patch. That patch supports awareness about autism. Basically, the patch gets sold. There's no profit for the people selling it. The money goes back into both autism research and awareness. The awareness part is part of the R4AU, which is the Autistic Jedi, and the droid that is named R4AU that go around from cons to promote awareness. Now, as everyone knows, traveling costs money. So it's a two-part thing. You're helping with both the research and you're helping to bring awareness to the world. That is not something that Written Sins takes a profit on. We're doing it because we know the creators. We're happy to help them. We're happy to be part of this program and help them spread awareness. So if you come by our booth, you'll see it. We don't know what price we're going to be having them at. That is not going to be picked by me. That's going to be picked by Melissa and Christopher, who are running the program. Or Christopher, I believe, is the one actually running. I just talked to Melissa about it, which you guys know Melissa does stuff on our site. She does it, and this is about toys. So all of that's going to be up to them. We're, like I said, we're just the ones giving it out, and then we're going to send off the profits for it. We're only going to take back what we paid for the things, because we didn't want to have anything sent to us that would wind up having come out of pocket for them. So we bought the patches outright so we could have it on our table. So the only thing we're doing is recouping the cost of the patches, and that's one at a time. We're not going to recoup. Like, I'm not waiting till we make back the money on it. No. Every patch that is sold, a part of that sale goes directly back. And I have to figure out the cost of what it actually was. But let's just say we're selling it for $5. I believe the patches, I don't even know. And I don't necessarily want to say because I know I could ruin it. Either way, let's just say that I guarantee over 50% of the cost you're paying is going to go to the right place. So I wouldn't be part of it if I didn't think that. The Threat comic book series, it's a great comic book. There's still time to fund it. We're going to talk more about it. It is a fantastic idea. Imagine if Apple the corporation, if Sony the corporation, if IBM, well, IBM's kind of on their way out, but let's pick another one. Let's pick Uber. Uber might be on the way out too, actually. Some of these corporations just don't have staying power like they used to. Google, if Google ran a city, that is the Threat. We have Angelica Reigns, the T-shirt option, which is a part of the Kickstarter too. It's not only our pick of the week, but it's also got great rewards tier. And rewards, remember that, kids, when you're backing a Kickstarter, you're not buying something. Kickstarter is not a store. Oh, we have someone joining us. We'll get to them and just hang out with us. 1 minute caller. We'll be with you in a minute. We're doing the list, and then we'll talk to you. Angelica Reigns, remember, when you're backing something and you're getting a reward, you're not buying. This isn't a store. This isn't something you're buying from people. So keep that in mind. You know, like when you're investing in someone's future of creation, and that's a fantastic thing to be investing in. Italiano, which is made, it's not. So it is going to be printed. It's coming to you. It's a fantastic story. I can't wait for my copy. Every dollar counts. So what does every dollar count mean? Every dollar count means that one single dollar can make a dream come true. I know it sounds hokey, but it's true, because if 20 people, if 30 people all decided to give $1, some Kickstarters would fund that aren't necessarily funding today. Not only that, but every time you even give $1, you send out an instant message to people that I back this. And by sending that message out, you're also encouraging other people to back it. Speaking of backing a project, Jax the Anderson is coming to Kickstarter on Friday. It is the story of my son and how being a parent can affect my child in a positive note, a positive way. We have big plans for this Kickstarter. We'll talk about it more in a few minutes. The Coalition Comics, this was literally something that started in a Facebook group. Yahoo, talking about corporation dying. A Facebook group where they all came together to create this amazing new world with characters from all their different individual universes. Fantastic thing. Can't wait to talk about it. Kim Roberts is back with Toothville, issue 2. It successfully funded the first time. I actually recently got it, and we opened it on What's in the Box. I can't wait to read it. I just haven't gotten a chance yet. I'm ready to back her in issue number 2, and so should you be. You're the GOAT, issue number 8, comic book of the GOAT Apocalypse, is now available. It has funded. They really don't need our help, but I just want to be cool being part of the people who help get it funded, because how cool is that? The guy's got a trench coat and he's an action figure. The Knight has returned to Kickstarter, and while he's trying to put together the pieces of his soul, he's encountering some real baddies, and these are really some badass bad guys. I was kind of impressed by the team they got. Night 2, we're going to talk about more. This is an interesting one. This is a spirited fantasy about a pregnant young teacher who struggles with love, loss, and intolerance following the worst day of her life. It is one of those comic books that truly tell a great story and doesn't need anyone wearing tights to do it. Not that wearing tights is a bad thing. I'm a big Batman fan like everyone else, but sometimes it's nice to have a different type of story that's well told and illustrated beautifully, which is what this comic book's all about. Are you one of us? This year we're asking everyone on the planet, are you one of us? Are you someone who is tired of the reboot bullshit? Are you someone who's tired of all the nonsense that is the regular mainstream comic books? If you are, then you're one of us. Join our site and subscribe today. The Killer Bees are flying high comics and tag team style action. This is the story of the Killer Bees from the WWF Hall of Fame. I actually don't know if they're Hall of Fame. They should be. I'll tell you that. They should be. Killer Bees is an interesting tale about the past of these great wrestlers. Cross-stitch your way into horror comics. To horror creations, this is Evil Dead 2, The Book of Thread. You never thought that needlepoint could be so much fun until you see this project. The Night, Mayor Kill Facets, a comic anthology. This is an awesome project with just an outstanding list of creators, something that everyone can be proud of. We're going to go into that in a minute. Blister, a rad pump comic about growing up in the 90s. Now, I'm old, so I grew up in the 90s. I remember the 90s. It's kind of cool to see this. It's kind of cool to see the drawing and the type of clothing that people were wearing. I was a fan of it. It looked really cool. I can't wait to see it. So we're going to be talking more about that in a minute. Light Chasers. This is kind of cool. This is going to deal a lot with, I think, intolerance of different people, because it shows it in one of the previews that we'll see in a minute. A comic book where accidents happen, or maybe it's just superpowered sister causing you to explode while in the gymnasium. Same thing. SFCs, Angelica Reigns and Guido Martinez's Night are teaming up for a Kickstarter crossover. So how cool is this? You back both Kickstarters. So your email address goes on to both Kickstarters. You get to get this awesome art. This art becomes yours. And look, how sick does that look? That looks fantastic. You know you want it. And all you have to do is back two fantastic projects. It's like they're giving you a gift for doing the right thing. Alter Life, we just had Cab on our show talking about it. We talked about that. We're going to talk more about it in a few minutes. We'll move it back to its place, actually, in line. And we have Fight of the Century now on Kickstarter. This is genetically cyberpunk graphic novel. This is awesome. I can't wait to share it with you all. But that's the list for now. So let's talk about them individually. Starting with Angelica Reigns, which, yes, I have to play the video because we're almost out of time. This will be the last week I can play the video. So it's kind of sad for me, but that's what we're going to do. It's the music that gets me every time. Gotta blast this. Here we go. All the way out. I'm going to be sad to see this Kickstarter grow because most of you guys know that I've loved that music, probably a little bit more than I should. So basically, Angelica Reigns is this badass chick who has these powers, and she doesn't want to succumb to the evil that's calling within her, I guess you could say, or be corrupted by the power, but she's put in a position where she'll have to use her power against these baddies who are clearly coming to cause no good. Now, as you can see, the rewards for this, for pledging, not buying, pledging, Kickstarter, not a store. For pledging, you're going to wind up getting these awesome beneficial packages that you can't, I mean, it really is cool, though. We're going to just talk about Doppelganger. Doppelganger, magic can do anything and make you anything. Become a character in issue 2, a sketch card of character, a copy of issue 2, copy of issue 2 script, signed so you can read it ahead of everyone else. Deluxe edition of Angelica Reigns 1 with script and concept art, Angelica Reigns t-shirt, Elder t-shirt, Angelica Pin, all for $250. Come on, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. You got to admit. You got to admit. This is from the team of creators that brought us Delia Blast. Remember Delia Blast? I don't remember the character, but it's so cute, and they had the plush figure for it. Fantastic way that these guys are giving you rewards, and this is what Kickstarter is about, giving you a reward, giving you something that you're not going to get anywhere else. And like I said, it's a reward. It's not a purchase. And I know that there's a confusion about what Kickstarter is supposed to be for. And realistically, Kickstarter is for you to help creators create something. And we try as creators to give you cool incentive stuff that you can't buy at a store. That's why you see scripts. You don't know, you're not going to see a script at a Comic-Con. In all the time I've been there, I don't think I've ever seen anyone put on their table a script of their comic book. You don't see it. You don't see a lot of t-shirts make the alley. You don't see a lot of the pinup art show up. You'll get some 11x17s. Like, we do a couple leftover stuff. But that's just because, like, I try to buy it in bulk to help, you know, make something more affordable. Both for when I'm out on the road with the stuff that we're doing, but also when we do Kickstarters. I don't necessarily, we can make more profit for what we're being given. And by profit, I don't mean the profit like the way you think of it. I mean profit towards the project, meaning that money that we're not using to spend on the items we're buying, we're reinvesting into the comic book, which is what you really should be doing with Kickstarter. That's not my opinion. That's Kickstarter itself. That basically tells you it's not a store and it's about developing your project. So this is a great project to help get off of Kickstarter. It is $3,807, which is ridiculous that it has not funded yet. I don't understand why it hasn't funded, and I'm really reaching out to you guys this week, and I'm demanding of you guys to share it. And how do you share it? You just come over here and do this. And if you haven't backed it and you don't want to back it for whatever reason, let's say you don't even have $1. Let's say this just isn't your thing. You don't like it. You like anime, and this doesn't smell like anime. This doesn't feel like anime, and you don't want to do it. Marcy White said hi. Hi, Marcy. If this isn't your thing, cool. No doubt. I get that. It's not everyone's thing. But sharing, I mean, you can clearly see that this product has value. This product deserves, at very least, a shareability. And you cannot deny that. So with that said, go out there and share it. We have 46 hours not to just get it funded, but to show that we believe in this product. And that's something we need to do as a creative group and as fans. We need to make sure that stories like this get told. So please do take a moment, go out there and share this with the world around you. Because remember, comic book creators don't always know the same people, and that's a good thing, because by helping each other and sharing each other's products and actual projects is important, and we wind up helping spread awareness, and that's fantastic. That's Angelica Reigns. The threat. Now here, look, $319 on $5,000 with a little under 2 days left. That's a long road, but it's not an impossible road. And that road becomes more and more possible when we do things like this. We share it. We talk about it. We wind up doing it. Oh, apparently I can post to Tumblr. I didn't even know I was signed up to Tumblr. I don't think I am yet. So I'm going to actually go and do it to the right thing. So I don't know why I did that. So now, I actually did back this project last week, and I didn't back it now, back it before. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to back it in front of everybody. I'm going to go on, show you. I'm going to go with, where was the one that I thought was really cool? There it goes. The threat. This gets me all my issues. I got on the Hall of Fame. I think if I hit Apple Pay, I don't have to show you guys anything. No one copy my information. That's right. I have, oh. Cool. So there you go. I backed it. No one steal my stuff. No one steal my information. I mean, it's not hard to invest in these projects and give them something different. Let's see, we brought the total back up, which unfortunately I didn't really bring the total up because I had actually taken it out just to show you guys. that how easy it is to make a decision on this, because I mean, look at that. I mean, I'm going to get a print copy of issue number 1. I'm going to get a print copy of issue number 2, a print copy of issue number 3, a print copy of issue number 4, and a print copy of issue number 5 for $25. Come on. How is that not a good freaking deal, man? That's putting them each valued $5 each, and I don't think I paid more than $5 for shipping, so it's $6 an issue. That's not bad at all for Kickstarter. You have to be insane not to take up on that deal. And if you're worried about the campaign is awesome. We had the creator on here. It really how awesome. Again, great music. So I'm going to miss having that on our show to rock out to. Just typing and sending out to world that I love Mark Schmidt's creation, The Threat. Please back it. And I'm doing that while I'm live on a video with you guys, hanging out, talking about Kickstarter. See how easy it is. And I'm going to put please back it with me so I can get the issues along with you. And that's going out live right now. And it's not hard, guys. It really is not hard to do all this cool stuff to help creators out. And, you know, like I said, you don't always have to spend a lot. I've got a wife who doesn't like me spending a lot, and I'm sure everyone else has got, you know, either bills or things that they need to concentrate on, and everyone's going to understand that. No one's going to not understand that. So no one's telling you to spend your life savings on Kickstarter, but sharing is free. And as a matter of fact, we have a whole different group of people from YouTube, actually, and we're going to go look at my, you guys can't see it on YouTube, but I'm going to call up a video, and we're going to see someone tell us why it's important to share. And the reason sharing is more important than liking, and I do want to stress this. Like recently, I got a award from Facebook, and I thought it was very arbitrary. They told me, "Oh, you've gotten 19,000 likes," and I'm like, "Okay, cool, I guess." I didn't really count my likes like that, but it sounds like an impressive number. So yeah, sure, 19,000 likes. Problem with likes is that I know that likes don't always mean the same thing as sharing something. Like is like, "Hey, dude, I liked that show last night. You know, it was pretty cool." You know, that's liking something. But loving something is, "Dude, you have to come over to my house and watch this with me. I'm telling you, it will change your freaking life." That's sharing something. And just try to keep that in mind when you guys are looking at these particular things and thinking about these things, that a like isn't always the same as sharing. Sharing is cool. It is fantastic. It is the best thing you could do. Liking is kind of like, I liked it. It was okay. Maybe I would have done something different if I had time. You know, that's not a committal thing. Commit with a share. And our good friend Victor Davis.
Right. When you share, it shows you care. It tells the world that you support something, not just in the quiet recesses where I put it, but you're putting it out on your page. You're telling your friends, your fans, that you support what we're doing. So share, don't like.
And remember to check out Vantage in-house. Yeah, but I mean, kidding around aside, wow, we're doing spoken instance. It is one of the best things you can do for a creator is to simply share. Sharing is caring. There's a reason that term has lasted so long. Italiano, congratulations. Welcome to the winner's circle. You have now made it. You are now funded. Congratulations. I look forward to my copy. Speaking of my copy, we're going to go ahead and back this project. And yes, I deliberately waited to do this today because I wanted to show that I support indie comics. So I'm going to get the printed copy of a 48 soft cover, or actually 25, the Enforcer early. Oh, it's no longer available. Come on, that's not cool. I missed all the early bird specials. I don't need a printed. I don't need an Italiano case file. So I'm going to go with the 25 or 20. Oh, 25? No. No, because I can't, because I'm not cool. Okay, fine, whatever. I'm not cool. So here I go. I'm processing my payment. Stop looking at my numbers. Stop trying to steal my numbers, Facebook. Behave yourselves, Facebook. There we go. We should be back. Hello. And we're back, Facebook. Processed. All right, welcome back to the show, Facebook. So there I am. I'm a backer. Congratulations to me, and I can share my fantastic love of the thing. And now it's posted to Facebook. That's how easy it is to back something. It's not hard. I looked at the product, and I saw that it was fantastic. And when something's fantastic, it's, oops, sorry about the fast spin. I hate that. Hate when people do it in the video, but I don't want to take up too much time. So everyone close your eyes for a second. All right, open your eyes. It is a great project. I mean, very passionate guy. I love that he said, you know, you could back my project or you could not back my project and crush my dreams. You know, your choice. Your choice. Do whatever you want. I thought that was kind of clever. It looks fantastic. Honestly, I hope to have him on my program to talk with him about this. He's one of the people I want on Spoken Sins. Also, that guy, Markel Dupree, who keeps dodging me, and Bob Sally, you're all on my list. I will have you face the 7 or show up on the show. You will get name recognition from me somehow or another. Now, the cool thing about Kickstarter, okay, I just backed it. And I know I have a certain amount of people who are following me. I don't even know how many people. Let's go take a quick look and see how many. Let me see how many people follow Rob. Let's see. Can I see my profile? Can I see my profile? Let's maybe only show my accounts. I don't know if I want you guys to see my account stuff. Here, let's go. Oh, there it is. You all know my name's Rob Anderson. Nah, it won't let me. Either way, if it would let me show you, I could show you how many followers I have. I think I have like 50 followers right now on Facebook, on just Kickstarter. 50 people follow me, which isn't a lot, but it's still 50 people. And remember, there are 50 people on Kickstarter. That means these are 50 people who are willing to invest in someone's creations. Not buy, but invest in someone's creation. The difference, again, Kickstarter is not a store. With that in mind, this is a great place to invest your money. It's something funny, especially if you like The Sopranos and you like something that's a little goofy. This is not meant for kids, which most of these aren't, but it is really a great product. And I mean, check it out. It has 3 days to go. The Dons, I mean, he talked about developing this story for 10 years. Imagine the commitment that you have to actually have developed something for 10 years. Now, I have products that are not products, but projects. I keep saying products for projects. I have projects that, honestly, I have been doing for 13 years, but I have gone on and off with them. And there are a few that I definitely want to tell one day, and they will be told. But those are coming soon down the pike, and it's not what I'm working on today. This is something that he's been dedicated to for 10 years. I don't know if I have the attention span for that. You know, that this is just something that's kind of very passionate and very, you know, to the point. Marcy White shared it. Thank you, Marcy. I appreciate it. Sharing does help us get the message out. That's fantastic. Thank you very much. Speaking of sharing, real quick, we're just going to take a minute and we're going to invite anyone who wants to be on the program. I know we had someone, but they fell out on us before I could actually get to see who they were. So I'm just going to take a quick second to visit my Facebook group or my Facebook page, if you guys are all bear with me for a second. So we can talk to some other creators. See, we're going to put, come on, Kickstarter Live. And we're going to invite anyone who has Google what is it? Google Chrome works best for this. So if you have Google Chrome, you should be able to do this in seconds. It's not so great on Firefox for whatever reason. There we go, Google Hangouts. It doesn't work great on on Firefox at all. And Safari, it's kind of weird about it. So we've invited people to come on the show with us. Apparently I have a new friend, or someone wants to be my friend. That's cool. I like new friends. Collation Comics, the power company. Wow, we've almost been on for an hour, so I guess I need to get a little quicker, but it's hard when you have so many great projects to talk about. Power Company is one of those great projects. Just a ton of creators coming together, as I said, on a Facebook group, to create something that is now funded. So get this straight. Get this idea in your head and understand the power of social media. Social media has brought together these amazing creators who just, range from different areas. Like not necessarily any one of these guys in real life, offline, would have ever ran into each other. I don't necessarily think all of them go to the same cons and all of that. So now, because of social media, they were able to be brought together, and that means that they get to now bring all their universes together and tell you a story that is probably like very rare stories told, because this isn't like Marvel meeting DC. This is like Marvel meeting DC, meeting Image Comics, meeting Dark Horse Comics, which I know DC and Dark Horse go over, and IDW. Like, that's the type of caliber that this is. That's what we're talking about. Jax, the CEO of Written Sins, I think, is getting tired of being in the room. She's another reason I got to wrap this up. But, it really is amazing what in our day and age we can accomplish. I work with artists from around the world on my projects and very proud to do it. I'm very grateful for us living in this day and age where we can work with people outside of our communities and have a broader horizon. And I think it's kind of cool to be working with people. If I hadn't worked with other creators like I did from other parts of the world, I would have never seen my comic book, something I wrote, something that was an idea of mine, come to life on a news network in another country. So that's how powerful social media has become. And with that power, you see it coming to life in this fantastic comic book that looks insane. And I wonder, and I really want to have them on the show because I want to talk about this. I want to know where the villains are coming from. Are the villains also from across the different universes? Because that'd be kind of cool if they brought all the bad guys from different universes across too. And I think that's exactly what was happening, but I just want to talk to them and get the idea for sure on that. But Collation Comics looks awesome. Here we go. Funded, Toothville #2. Fantastic little story. Kim Roberts is absolutely stunning with her ability to write and entertain. This is a cute comic. I believe it could be all ages. I don't see a reason that necessarily it couldn't be all ages. I don't necessarily think that it's meant necessarily for a very young audience, but I think that they would kind of think some of the things are cool for it. But it does look like a fantastic thing. It looks like it's entertaining. It looks like it's got the right comedy markers where they have to be. I think it's great. I think you guys will enjoy it. I think it's something you should back. So spend some time, check it out. Remember to share it. Sharing's caring. The Night #2 has officially funded and is moving on to stretch goals with 36 backers. This story is fantastic. It took me by surprise. I did do a review about it. It is really well written, and I think the art is fantastic. And I really do think that this is something that if you read it, you're going to like it. And I do suggest it to everyone watching. Once again, the same creative team behind SFC Comics and behind Delia Roberts. This is in the same creative group. Fantastic creative group. They keep bringing out these amazing stories, and I mean, this really is exciting to know that I already read this. You know, you got to understand, I've read this, so I know what happens. I've read the story. I don't need to buy a copy, and I'm still buying a copy because it was that good that I need to own a copy. And yeah, see, I'm getting the print copy. And this is what it is to be a fan of something. You go out and you get the print copy. Year of the Goat, number 8. This story continues. It has rated. It's obviously. I mean, this is issue number 8, so it's got this giant fan base built into it. It can get funded without our help. It is what I like the most about this is the action figures and the covers. The covers are insane for this project, and the action figures are amazing that they did for it. So this is like, I mean, I've been watching this for the Year of Sin as we first started. I've probably been watching this project from the shadows as it was since Written Sins Productions opens its doors. For those of you who've been a fan since way back, the 10 of you who were original fans of Written Sins Productions, this is how far back this goes. So, I mean, it is great creative team. They know what they're doing. They're just able to pound these issues out. And they have these amazing action figures. Look at that trench coat. Look at that cool trench coat. Maybe I'm too obsessed with the trench coat. I know. But that's the Year of the Goat, Volume 1. Trade back is issues 1 through 5. So you can actually get that as part of one of the the rewards. Sorry, not goals. One of the rewards. These are the stretch goals. That's what tripped me up. So they're already onto their stretch goals, which is pretty cool. Congratulations to that creative team. Here we go. This is about that. Remember, we were talking about the pregnant girl, and it's set in a different age. Like, we think of a pregnant girl now, and it's, you know, they're on TV. It's not as traumatic as it once was. There was a time being a pregnant girl was almost a death sentence if you weren't married. Not necessarily your age, like the teenage. Like that came up in, and they call us monsters. I referenced the fact that there was once a time in humanity when we were having children at 18 years old. And we were sharing families and already having established lives by the time we were in our 20s. So not necessarily the age, but being an unwed mother is definitely something that's probably problematic for this girl. And, you know, this is about her worst day and how she handles it. So it's not going to have the action that you would expect, but it's going to have a great story. And it is something that I think is very interesting. I believe this is, I'm trying to see, almost funded. So what we're going to do real quick is we're going to go ahead. I'm going to get a deluxe. I'll take a deluxe number 1. Oh, the variant. I don't know. They're limited to 13 of 20. Do I want a variant, guys? I think I'm going to go variant. Here we go. So I'm going to definitely do this. Now, every time I do this, unfortunately, it knocks out the video on YouTube. So I'm going to come back and we're going to finish this when we're off the air. So I'll be back for that. I'm already backing this. You guys can see I pledged $9. I'm getting a copy. I could now. Here's the thing, and I want to. I know I sound like a broken record, and this is more just frustration over what I see being done to Kickstarter, and I'm going to explain. Kickstarter is not meant to be a vehicle to sell your comic books. I think that if you're using it to sell comic books, you're kind of fucking it up for everyone else. And I'm not saying you can't use it to create comics. I'm not saying that there's anyone can use Kickstarter. I'm not going to limit who can use it. I'm not going to say if you're so established you can't use it. If you need to use Kickstarter, you should do it. It's a crowdfunding measure that anyone should be allowed to use. With that in mind, I want everyone to understand that it is a crowdfunding tool, meaning you're not supposed to be selling things at, you know, oh, I'm giving people a good value. That's not what it is. That's not what, if you're coming to Kickstarter to give people a good value, you're cheating Kickstarter. You're cheating the people who are backing you because basically you want to make sure that you're supporting the system, not hurting it. And, you know, look, I mean, there's always going to be people who find a way to make money out of everything. There are charities now that people make millions of dollars off of. It's just the reality we live in. And there's this sort of movement for people to be predatorial over Kickstarter and what they're doing. And that's not everyone. That's not a big percentage, thank God, of the people who are doing Kickstarters. And it's not at all the common or the norm yet. And the reason I'm speaking about it now is because I want to make sure it doesn't become the norm on it. Because here's the problem. When these guys come out and they start turning Kickstarter into a store, they bring Kickstarter to a place where it becomes competitive. And Kickstarter can't be competitive. It's made for the underdog. It's made for the guy who can't fund the project. It's made for the girl who needs some help getting her project made. It is meant for the people seeking help. If you're going to go on Facebook and talk about how much money you're making off of a Kickstarter, you're spitting in the face of both fans who back Kickstarters and actual other creators. And I'm not saying this is about Killer Bees, and I just want to make that clear because this is what's showing right now. It just reminded me at this moment about it. So please don't hold it against the Killer Bees. It's not them. I know it's not them. There's a bigger point to it, and I'll get to it right now because I know I'm going on. Because it does upset me when I see people misusing Kickstarter. And because it upsets me because you guys see every week I come on these programs and I talk about everyone's Kickstarters. And I'm trying to help people get these things funded, getting these projects funded. And it feels dirty to know that there are people out there who are using this as a vehicle to make a profit. Because if you're telling me you're giving someone a value, I understand value. And I understand that it also means in your mind you've built profit in. And that's kind of dirty. And I know how to read in between. And Marcy White says she loves Alter Life. I love it too, actually. I've been a fan of it since day one. I'm very thrilled with the creator. You can hear Roxy, my dog. She apparently peed in the right space and wants a treat. And I don't have a treat in front of me. Roxy, go lay down. The point I was making about the Kickstarter and why it can't be abused and why it being abused is such a problem is because when you abuse it, you're going to the people who are backing Kickstarters are coming here kind of knowing what they're getting into. They know they're going to spend a little bit more, but they also know that they're part of something bigger. It's what crowdfunding is meant to be, right? So with that in mind, here's a perfect project. And this is why Killer Bees was where it was right now. Not because I think they're doing that, but because I know the creator behind it. I know John. I see him, and as a matter of fact, I think I'm seeing him this week at IACON 3. If I'm not mistaken, he said he would be there. So we're going to hang out. Maybe I'll get lunch with him. I've known him for a while. I still have to get him on Spoken Sins. We've had trouble connecting on that. But we talk a lot, and we go back and forth with certain things. He's always giving me stuff to promote, and I ask him questions of my own. So I believe that there's a good friendship starting between me and him. And he's a great guy. And now I could back the project right now for $9, and I think I got the Killer Bees, the standard cover. So I could do it for $5, and I could pay the shipping, and I could back his project right now. Or I could wait 3 months and go buy it from him at a con that I know he'll be at. Here's the thing. I'm backing him today because I want to show the world I support his idea. You know, that's the point of Kickstarter. If I'm looking for a value, you know, I would see where he's going and try to get it cheaper. If I was looking for a value or I was tight on money or I didn't want to pay a lot for shipping and I didn't know about the creator and I wasn't like necessarily a giant fan of the work, I would maybe get the PDF. And if I don't like the work at all, because it's just my taste, remember, it's okay to not like something. I'm not saying you have to like everything. I'm not saying that. But $1 of support if you think the project has merit. If you think the project is fantastic. If you think that there's something cool about it, but it's just not for you. $1 shows support. But again, it's about supporting something. It's not about sales. My tirade's over. I'm sorry. It was just a discussion that I felt, and it's nothing against any one person. who I had a discussion with, but it's a discussion in general that I've seen talked about recently. And I've seen these creators learn that they can charge people to teach them how to run Kickstarters, and it's a slippery slope. And I've watched it over the last 3 years, and I could see people are trying to monetize Kickstarter, and that makes me very afraid. Like, for a long time, a lot of people talked about the dangers of too much information or too many titles on Kickstarter, and that was the big thing. We can't have too many projects on Kickstarter. It's going to dilute the market. It's going to dilute the market. It's going to ruin the market. I always didn't have a problem with any of that, because in the end of the day, hey, you know, cool. There's more things to choose from, more channels. I can no longer complain there's nothing on TV to watch. If there's nothing on TV to watch, that's because it's my fault. I'm not doing the right things. I'm not doing the right things, and it's causing me to have a problem because I can't watch something because I'm not smart enough to find something. So that's basically what Kickstarter is. It puts in power the fans to choose the future of creation. Right? So when you start using it as a store and you start monetizing it, you start doing things, you're going to affect people's belief in the system. And so what's going to wind up happening is you might start getting people who show up to the site more and more looking for a deal, looking for being able to get something. And that's not freaking fair. Because if you're selling your PDF for $2 because you can afford to, that's great. But there are people who need to sell their PDFs for $5, for $10, because they've invested a lot of themselves into that. And just because you're at the point where you have made a business out of selling comic books, and first off, if you're going to be touting about how you've made a business out of selling comic books, and I promise I'm going to end the rant right after this statement. If you've gotten to the point where you're touting about how great of a businessman you are, then you don't need Kickstarter. If you're doing so good that you are so great, that you are doing amazing and you're the best thing since sliced bread, why are you on Kickstarter? If you're using Kickstarter, guess what? You haven't made it yet. You haven't made it to the point where you don't need a crowdfunding source. And to try to act superior about it, and to try to pitch that you're using it and you make profit off of Kickstarter is kind of, see, that I think is a betrayal to anyone who backs Kickstarters. That's just me. I think anyone who goes into a Kickstarter trying to make a profit is bullshit. And I think it's bullshit because that's not what Kickstarter is supposed to be for. You know, call me stupid and wishy-washy. Maybe, you know, I'm sure there's like stupid terms people will say about it. But Kickstarter is meant to make dreams come true, not to fill your pockets, not to buy you a car, not to build you a home. You do that after you go to Kickstarter and you've built an amazing product, and then you have the opportunity to then do something with it. That's what Kickstarter is for. It is not for you to give people a great value. Kickstarter is not Costco. It's not Great Value. It's not freaking Walmart. Kickstarter is about dreams and belief. And it does make me mad when people forget that purposely because they're too interested in making money. Comic books have to be about more than making money, even in Marvel and DC. And even in Marvel and DC, they had to acknowledge that. And that's why we're seeing Rebirth. That's why we're seeing Legacy right now, because it is more than making money. Comics don't work when you make money. And you know what? I guarantee it. Write it down that I said this. In 2 years' time, the people who are touting about using Kickstarter as a business will suddenly find themselves getting in trouble from Kickstarter. Because there's only a matter of time before Kickstarter kind of has to address this issue. You shouldn't use Kickstarter for that. If you're using Kickstarter as a way to make money, you're doing something wrong. If you make money off of Kickstarter, invest it in your tables, invest it in something. Use the money from Kickstarter to make something. Because that's what people are giving you money for. They're not paying you. They're investing in you. They're pledging to you. There's a deliberate wording on Kickstarter. And I'm done. I promised I'd be done. So I'm going to end the rant now because we've gone way too far. But that's why. See, when I back these projects, I'm backing them because I believe in you. Every one of you guys who see me back your project, that is my vote of confidence. You know, I could get it cheaper, or I could not get it at all, and I could just ask for a PDF. And I could say, hey, I'm doing a book review. Want me to do it for free? People send me their books all the time. We talked about The Knight. The Knight sent it to me for free. I back these projects because I believe in them. I talk about them on this program because I believe in these projects. I believe they all have merit. They would not be on this program if I did not believe they had merit. Evil Dead 2, this is really cool. I just haven't backed it because I'm stupid. There's no real answer for that. It is a fantastic project. I have to get on it. It'll be something that I do back. There's digital versions. I mean, this was fantastic. I mean, I like Evil Dead. It's one of the few hard things I actually like. I actually liked it when they got goofier in Army of Darkness in the actual show now. I like the groovy and the rock, paper, scissors groovy. I think it's a great project. I think it's fantastic. As a matter of fact, because I need to drink something and I need to just stretch and take a walk, you guys are going to get a video.
In celebration of the 30th anniversary of the cult classic, Evil Dead 2, Source Point Press and Studio Canal are proud to present to you Evil Dead 2, the Book of the Thread. The Book of the Thread is taking an old-school art form in the craft world, cross-stitch, and making it groovier than ever before. Renowned horror stitcher Rebecca Marks Burley really delivers with this incredible collection, featuring over 20 designs, all officially licensed Evil Dead 2 patterns that you can use to create artwork or adorn and customize items in your home. Think cross stitches for old ladies? And we brought an old lady of our own to tell you, think again. Henrietta, correction, Deadite Henrietta, guides you through the process and gives you expert tips and tricks along the way to create some of the most badass cross-stitch art you've ever seen. Never done cross-stitch before? No problem. Henrietta teaches you everything you need to know. And we think you should listen to it. Or otherwise.
Swallow your soul!
So that's it, man. If you don't do it, you're in trouble. I'm not helping you. They're coming for you. That's going to be your problem. You're going to have to deal with them. So, you know, back it or just they're going to be in your bed tonight. So just keep that in mind. And as always, remember sharing. Sharing is so easy. Look at that. That's it. That's it. There you go, honey. Shared. Shared with the world. The world now has it. And that's special. All right. Let's wrap the show up. A nightmare. Okay. This one, we're going to watch a video because it deserves it. That's why. Because I said so. All right, so now we're just going to look at the list of creators. This might take an hour in itself, so I'm going to try to go as quick as I can. But I want you, as we're scrolling, to realize how jam-packed this creative team is and how fantastic. I mean, this is one of those projects, and I'll just say it now, where if you want to back indie comics, this is how you back indie comics. This is it right now. This is one of the best things that you could ever do to back a project for indie comics is to actually back one of these. You are talking about a list of, oh, that's so cute. It's Dead Cat. I don't think I've ever seen Dead Cat before. So kudos to the artist, Crease. Crease? Crease. But I mean, just fantastic. I mean, look at the creativity in there. Look at the creativity of all these creators. I mean, literally, we're still going. Okay, now we just hit the pages. Now, you want to hear about Sucky. I was the one who had to actually sit there and type all those in. all the different people. It had one of the longest creators credit lists I have done to date, giving people credit, but it was awesome. It was awesome to see how many people are behind it. I'm always thrilled to be talking about a project like this because, I mean, you're really talking about it. I haven't backed it yet because I literally got it on the list yesterday, and I didn't really get to read some of the different projects. And I'm slowing on these screens so you guys can get a little bit of a preview while we're talking. So basically, I just haven't looked through the reward category because I do want to get it. I just haven't decided. Me, it's more like kid in a candy store moment. And I got to look over how much I'm putting out in Kickstarter because I kind of overspent what I was supposed to in Kickstarter. Like I spent a little more than I should have. So I got to kind of watch how much I invest in this. And it also goes to sometimes when it ends. Plus, I'm going to be on the road for a bit. So hopefully my back holds up. We're going to go on a trip. So, you know, money could be a little tight. So I gotta play with money. Got to play with money and see how I can get in on this. But I'm going to get in on this no matter what. It's just, you know, maybe I tell the cable company the check's in the mail. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But, and I do get that. You know, the one thing I'll say is that, you know, and sometimes these Kickstarters do come up in a bad month. You know, I've had a couple months where I've had to only get a PDF. And what I'll do eventually is try to go out and buy the book from the creator at a show. Because bad months happen, man. We all fall behind in bills. We all have a car breakdown, a fridge breakdown. Something goes wrong. You need new tires. I had that nail on the side of brand new. We had a 2017 van and moved to Florida. We got a nail on the side of the tire, basically brand new tire. So had to get new tires and stranded it. So it happens, man. And that's expensive. The tires were like $400, $500 put on. So of course they had to be H-rated, so they're like $220 a pop, and it's not even that fancy of a car. It's just what it calls for, and unfortunately, I know a lot about tires, and I understand the complexity of it. So I can't not get the tire because it would bother me, and I feel like I'm jeopardizing my son. In the end of the day, it's only so much money you're jeopardizing. So look, we're all going to get it. Not everyone has money, but it doesn't mean you can't back it. I mean, for this one, I think the PDF is set at like $15. So that's not bad. I mean, the physical book is $25, which I'm definitely getting a physical book. I'll tell you that right now. But what I was looking at last, there were kind of other packages here, and I wanted to kind of explore it. This is one of those ones where it's like too many choices. It's like kid and candy store. You know, and I think that with a project like this, the hard part is picking which level you're going to be comfortable with backing. I really do think that. And, yeah, I mean, you know, this is definitely a project that I think that you'll enjoy, or I wouldn't be having it on the list and talking about it. Oops, sorry about that. Just knocked the camera for the Facebook audience. There's going to be more. We're going to be able to talk about this next week. We'll give it more time. I wanted to give a lot of time to the ones running out because we don't do the Kickstarter Last Talk anymore. We only promote this now primarily, and I'm hoping that works. It was mixed reviews on whether or not we should bring Kickstarter Talk back, Kickstarter Last Rights back, I should say. Kickstarter Last Rights was our program where we talked about all the ones ending, but it wasn't getting the viewership. Like, it was getting a tenth of what it should. It was like a 15-minute program, and people weren't gravitating towards it for whatever reason. And more people seem to watch this and share this. So we're putting our emphasis on this. We expanded this show. As you see, we're going on 90 minutes. Holy crap, going on 90 minutes. Blister, speaking of keeping on going, Blister's a cool comic book. It's almost reached its goal. Very happy to hear that. My good friend Eric is doing great. I actually pledged $10, so I get this cool behind-the-scenes thing. But sometimes you get to it late, and I know it sucks, but you know, that's why you're supposed to pay attention to Written Sins. We had broken the story within hours of it launching. So, you know, next time pay attention. Maybe sign up for Written Sins' emails. You'll never miss it again. But with that said, this looks like a funny comic book. I can't wait to read it. It does remind me of the 90s. There's a lot of a feel to the 90s to it. I think Eric kind of caught the 90s in this kind of grungier scene, and I remember the girls and how the girls acted. And I definitely see my past in this book, so I look forward to reading it. Light Chasers. Let's do a video because we didn't really touch on this last.
Hey everyone, my name's Mike, and I am the creator of Light Chasers. My premise for Light Chasers is a simple one. I look around at the world, and historically, and there's a lot of bigotry. There's a lot of hatred. There's a lot of, I don't like that guy because of the shade of his skin. I don't like that girl because of her religion or her lack of religion. Some people, crazy enough, they don't like people because of who they love. And I draw a lot from the 80s and 90s X-Men comics that I grew up with. And I want to bring that into this modern setting. What would happen if these people started appearing and walking down the street? These people who actually, they look different than everyone else for some reason or another, and they're having powers. What would that mean? How would society react to those people? And how would those individuals react in terms of society? There's going to be some amazing things going on with this universe, and I really hope you enjoy it. So thank you very much for checking out what we have going on. But mostly, thank you just for considering backing this project. For independent creators, crowdfunding is the only way we can get our projects out to the world. So thank you so much just for looking at this and considering Light Chasers.
All right, Mike. Mike's awesome.
Hey everyone.
Hi, Mike. And like I called it, it was going to be something about intolerance, and there it was. I could tell by the preview pages when I was putting it together. It looks clever. It looks well done. I think the art is fantastic. Obviously, it's about hiding yourself. Now, one of the things I will say about hiding yourself, and this comes from writing Fetish Babies. Oh, Mike is actually on. Hey, Mike, if you want, I'll send you the link so you can get on and join us and talk about this, because I do really enjoy your projects. So I'm going to send Mike this while we're talking. With Fetish Babies, one of our goals was honestly the fact that that it's kind of disgusting, and it's kind of horrible that we live in a culture where people think they can tell other people how to act, when it clearly is things that they shouldn't do. And with Fetish Babies, it's despite all the research, despite everything that's been said publicly about it, and how relationships are in fact healthier in the BDSM relationships, that people still talk about it like it. And I had someone recently go, "Oh, your Fetish Babies thing is disgusting." And I was like, yeah, explain one thing about the story to me. One thing about the story that you know. And they were like, and that was the point. They didn't know shit. And, you know, it's kind of that way in this culture where everyone's not the entire culture. I mean, it's in our culture, meaning that it's hidden inside of our culture that it's okay to hate people. And it's not. It's disgusting to hate people. It's disgusting to judge people, and it's disgusting to be a person who's someone who bullies it. Now, I sent something to Mike, and hopefully he can join us. We'll see. I haven't heard back. I know I saw that he joined us for a minute. I don't know if I sent him something. We'll see if we can get him on. And in the meantime, what I'm going to try to do is just go on to the next project, and we'll see if Mike winds up joining us, and we'll come back to it if we have to, and if not, we'll end the show with it. Because I don't know if Mike is still there or not, because sometimes there is a delay, and I know if he's out, he might be in a dead zone. So we're going to see. We're going to hope he can join us, and if not, we'll try to get him on the show. The Alter Life, which was what we talked about at the very beginning. Fantastic career. I mean, I've known Cal since back in, remember I joked earlier in the video, for those who actually had managed to stay with me this whole time and talk about then me talking about these Kickstarters. For those of you who were at the video when I talked about it, or later who are watching it, Mike said he's traveling at the moment, so he won't be able to join us live. But Mike, I know that you're watching. You'll probably watch this again later. We're going to finish the program with your thing. So if you have anything to say, go ahead and load them in the comments section right now. Any comments you want me to make or something you want me to tell the fans, I'd be happy to share it with everyone. Sorry. You ever get the twinge in your eye? So yeah, Michael, tell us anything we need to know in a minute or two. But in the meantime, we're gonna talk about Calb. Now, Calb is a great creator, and he's great because he's here to tell you a story. And I think that this is, you know, it. I want to say this the right way because I don't want anyone getting insulted. When it comes to creating comic books, you have to put ahead of everything else telling a story. And it's not a dig on anyone. I'm not saying you can't make money off of comics. I'm not saying you can't treat it like a business. I get that you can. But if you're not creating something that's a comic book because you love comic books, because you have a story that needs to be told, it's going to show. And eventually you're gonna fail. And if you're at a point where you feel like this is just too much and you can't actually do this anymore because it feels fake, take a step back. You know, I see creative friends who take time out and they'll do a different project. They'll do something else. They'll play music. That's the smart way to go. Don't treat indie comics or comic books in general of creating as something that's just a business, because it can't be just a business. Like any art form, and comic books, indie comic books especially, are a art form. And with that said, art needs passion. Art needs heart in it, and you have to have heart in it. You can't put heart in it if you're treating it like a business every second of every day. And I don't know, to me, the creators that often make it, and I've talked to at all the cons, and I've been to a lot of cons at this point, and the ones that I talk to in private, the one thing that I always notice about the ones that I'm talking to who are featured guests, who are people who have made it, right or wrong, they're strong personalities that know what they like. Creatively, they're not afraid to tell the story the way they want to, and they're not afraid to have a creative standpoint. And that's important. Not one of them's ever talked to me about business. Every creator I meet talks to me about creating. They don't talk to me about business. And then the one thing I see indie comic book guys a lot of time talk about on their Facebook account is business. And yes, it has to be spoken about. And yes, we can give each other pointers. I'm not saying that, and I don't want that twisted. I'm just saying that I think that it becomes dangerous when we actually focus too much on business. And Calb is great that way, is that he's not looking at this as a business. He wants it to be. You could tell he's passionate about the project. You could tell he wants this project to be something big. He wants this project to be fantastic. He wants this project to be poignant. He wants people to be part of this project. But that's not the driving force for him. The driving force for him is that he wants to share an experience, a story with you. And I believe, and I've spoken to the man many times, and I believe in this man completely, that he is doing this because he loves what he does, and he loves creating it. And I think that's important. Like he said, he's like, I took a step back and I went to write the story because I wanted to get it done right. And I think that shows in creative projects like this. And that's what I love about indie comics the most, is that the projects that you see returning and coming back for issue 3. We had Tom Spellman, issue number 8. There's passion coming from those projects. And that's one of the most amazing things in the world, is to see passion oozing from these projects. So Cal, I support you. I really hope that everyone goes out and supports you, and I hope everyone shares it. Remember, you don't got to always spend money to support something. Sharing is just as important. The Fight has $853, but it's got 45 days to go. It is cyberpunk related. This is the future of fighting. This is how wars are solved. Wars are now solved in the ring. This is our future with genetically engineered monsters. It looks cool. I mean, I like the SFC, as you guys know. So this is definitely something, and it's not by the same creative force. I just throw an FFC out there because we were talking about Night and all that stuff today. So it's on my mind. It looks fantastic. It is a fight style biopunk graphic novel. mixed martial arts underdog that will go public punchline to people's champ. For some reason, my battery is running low, which means my charger wasn't charging this whole time, which kind of sucks. So we're going to have to wrap this program up. So we'll talk about this more next week. We will end with Light Chasers, which, by the way, I do have information from Mike. So Mike wanted to let us know that Light Chasers is all about being different and how society treats people who are different, whatever different means to you, and the separate and distinct reactions, right or wrong, that those different people. Hold on, I'm gonna have to actually go to the stream on my laptop and see if I can't read the rest of it. But I mean, basically, from what I'm gathering from what Mike is saying, and which I completely agree with, is that, yes, I can't get the comments right now. I'm trying to find it if I can get to the live. Here it is. All right. To end it, he said, and separate and distinct reactions, right or wrong, that those different people have back to society. Thank you so much for checking it out. Very cool. And I agree with that. I mean, it boggles my mind where I don't get it and I don't make judgments on anyone else. I think that there's still a moral compass over what right and wrong is, and I think the moral compass has always been the same, and I think that some people just tarnish that moral compass with idealism. And I think idealism changes over the centuries, and anyone who's a fan of history, and I'm a huge fan of history, anyone who's a fan of history has seen what we believe to be true change. Like, a lot of people are always surprised to find out that being gay was open back in Greece and during the Roman Empire. That was fine. That was acceptable. And then somehow someone decided that it was no good for their own agendas, for their own reasons. And I'm not going to get into the religious debate. I'm only talking purely history here. There was a group that decided that that was no good, and that was Catholicism. And Catholicism decided that they were going to change that, and they did. And now they're changing it back, and they're saying, well, maybe God didn't mean that, and it's confusing. So here's my suggestion to everybody, and this goes to anyone in the world. Treat people how you want to be treated. Do you want anyone telling you who you can have sex with? No. Do you want anyone telling you who you can be? No. Do you want anyone telling you how you should dress, how you should look? No. You always treat people how you want to be treated. And that means also how you act. If you act like a good person, you'll get treated like a good person. If you act like an asshole, don't be surprised when people treat you like shit. And projects like this, I think, are very important for that matter. Because I do think that when they give you these characters and they show you these characters and these different types of events, they do show you intolerance is dangerous. And that's exactly what's true. I mean, it's 2017. When can we get to a point where we just see human beings? And, you know, that's just the truth. Until we can start seeing people as human beings, we're not going to move forward as a species. Forget a color, forget a gender. As a species, we're not moving forward. So I think projects like these are important because they give you a different point of view, a different way to look at things. Because sometimes they have powers, and the powers have manifested on certain facial features and coloring. So now these people are not hiding who they are anymore. They've always been that way. And you get to see this sudden abrupt change in how people treat people suddenly because they're showing that they are who they are. And you'd see, you know, right here he says, no, they must be new. Oh, man, there's more of them. You've seen these two before. See, like, I mean, there's that attitude and just ugliness. And, you know, I like projects like this because they make you think. They make you think, well, why would I care if someone has a triangle on their forehead or they have powers? That would be cool. So if you don't care about that, then hopefully you don't care about anything else. And if you do care about something else, maybe you need to take a step back and examine that and understand that we're all just people. That's how we're going to end it this week. This went on way longer than we wanted to, but it was an awesome show. We had Calb on. We did have someone else on who I don't think we connected with because we're in the middle of the list. Hopefully we can catch up with them on the next show. Everyone's welcome. Mike got to stop by in our comment section. We got to talk to him about this project. I think it's fantastic. We're going to leave the show like we should leave the show by sharing it. And as always, I'm going to spend a couple more minutes on Facebook because, you know, it's a treat for the Facebook fans. Sorry, YouTubers, but you can always find us on Facebook and join us on the after program, as it were. All right, YouTube, you've been great. I'll catch you later.